Hi, I'm going to work with a couple of HTML web pages. The first one's called Make and Test Movie Objects.html, and the second one's called Zoo.html. And I'm going to just basically go over how to make the page and the different styles that it uses. I have a link to a style CSS external sheet, which is in here, and that sheet is right here. But I also have style tags where I've styled this individual page within the head. What I could do is I could take all of these styles and copy and paste it into this style.css and then delete all of this, which I guess I might as well do now. Go in here, right click my style.css, edit with Notepad. Now it pops up here. So I'm going to go down here, and this is the make and test movie objects.html, and I'm going to highlight all the style that I have for this particular web page. I'm going to copy and paste it, but I'll do that at the end after I go over everything, because when I have this side by side, I could actually point to the style while I show you the output in the browser window. So I will do that, but I'll do it afterwards. That makes more sense as I think about it. Let me minimize this. Let me take my make and test movie objects.html and let me run it in Firefox so that you can look at the output in the web browser alongside of the Notepad++ code. Alright, so let me kind of size this so they both look kind of even. Now, beginning HTML tag, and way down there's the end. Beginning head tag all the way to there, and there's the beginning body tag all the way to right before the end. Then I've got a text area in the body. That's this text area on the right, and it goes from there to there. And I have another text area, that's this one on the left, that goes from there to there. And in those text areas, I basically have code that will go to Java files. I'm not running Java yet, and I'm not showing the output in a command window yet, but using text areas and disabling them so that the user can't type in here or erase any of this stuff lets me show the code very easily instead of having to worry about new lines and special characters or anything like that. It just makes life so much easier. Then I have this div right here that goes from there to here, and this is in a class called heading, and that is this purple div right here because I styled class heading to have this purple border. Inside that div, I have a couple of things. If I open this a little bit to separate the tags, here's a link tag. Ref equals zoo.html, target equals blank, and here's the end of the link tag. But instead of having words to create the link, I'm using this image tag so that when you click on the monkey's face, that'll take you to the zoo page. And I'll show you right now. It just opens it up in a new tab. And when it opens up in a new tab, this audio tag is set to autoplay. So as soon as the page opens, it plays this audio snippet. There's another way that I go from this page to this page, and that's by using in the head this meta tag, and I'll go over that shortly. Let's see, I showed you this is how you link to an external style sheet. This is the meta tag that says meta http/equiv equals refresh, content equals 300. The content is set equal to all of this in double quotes. 300 semicolon URL equals zoo.html. What that means is in 300 seconds, the URL of the page is going to automatically go to zoo.html. So when we're starting off here, 300 seconds is 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, the user doesn't have to click anything at all. It will automatically open this over top of this. And I can actually show you that right now by changing, the 300 seconds to 5 seconds. Let me save it in Notepad++. Let me close out of the zoo and let me refresh it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and what can happen is if I do the same thing, there's a meta tag in the zoo.html. It's also set to 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. I can set that to 5 seconds as well and refresh it. And what's going to happen is it's going to toggle between this page, then the first page, and it's going to go back and forth every 5 seconds. And I'll show you that. Hit refresh. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So that's a kind of cool little thing that you can do with web pages. You don't have to make them toggle back and forth in 5-second increments. That's a little strange and annoying, but you may have like a lesson and you may want the page to be open to a certain time frame. Like, give the user 5 minutes to read this material and then go straight to a quiz page. And then after the quiz page, you might want to go straight to a page that opens up and gives the answers so that the user can basically grade themselves. So you can have this page flop back and forth. You can come up with different reasons to do it. You can create a few pages. Each page might have a specific exercise, and you might want to set how many seconds or minutes you want to do a certain exercise, and then the page will immediately jump to the next exercise, and so on and so forth. There's just different things you can do to be creative. This is a kind of a neat way to automate your navigation. So I kind of like it. You don't use it in all cases, but you can find creative ways to use it. In this case, I just gave you a couple of examples that you could use. Okay, so I talked about the shortcut icon. Let me open this page up again so I can refer to the output as well as the code input. Again, this is making our little... Oh, all right. This is going to not be right. Hold on, let me get out of there. Obviously, I need to change my 5-second to go over this. Go on ahead and set it to a larger number so that it doesn't toggle back and forth right now, not while I'm doing this. Uh-oh. Okay, so now I have it on 1,000 seconds. So that will not toggle when I'm running this. I won't toggle quickly, let's put it that way. Okay, so back to this. This showed the image of the monkey up here next to the title. There's the title. That opens up my external style sheet. This bounces me to a new page in a certain number of seconds. Here's a style. Here is my audio tag style, and right there are my my styles that go to the audio tag. I have a width of 91%, a background color of red, a border radius of 20 pixels so that I get that rounded effect, and a padding of 25 pixels. When I did not have my padding large enough, this little indicator of how much time passed in the audio file gets chopped off, and I'll show you how. If I take this padding down to 5 pixels and save it in Notepad++ and rerun the page, do you see how it looks nice, but my little minutes and seconds monitor here is partly chopped off. So I increased the padding just so I could not chop that off. Then I've got a style for image, which here is my monkey face, and I have a margin of 10 pixels, which is the padding of space on the outside of the element, a height of 25%, and I Z'd out the width of 25%, and I want to show you the reason why. As you change the size of this window, based on height, you get the monkey's head smaller as the height shrinks and larger as the height gets longer, but you don't lose the aspect ratio of the monkey. And of course, as you go left and right, you still have the same height of the window, so it does nothing. If you have width of 25% and height of 25%, what winds up happening is the monkey's head gets long and narrow as you widen your page, or fatter. If you go down here, it gets even fatter. So you lose the natural aspect ratio of the image if you give it a style of both height and width. So the best way to do this, to keep your aspect ratio, is don't set the width. So let's Z that out so you see that we can get that natural aspect ratio maintained. Okay, then I have a span tag, which actually is this red square right here that I have the word hello, the words hello there in there. I have a font size of 50 pixels so that it's relatively large font, border thick red solid, position absolute. The reason I did that is because I wanted to give it I wanted it to sit 55 pixels from the top of the window to here. I wanted to force it to sit right here, and I gave it a height of 15%, so that as the page goes down and the monkey head gets smaller, the span tag that holds my hello there message, it also shrinks so that it's similar. Overflow hidden means that whatever's inside this span tag, it's another type of division. When this gets so small, you see how hello there drops down? Instead of dropping over top of the border, it drops down and becomes invisible. If I take that overflow hidden and misspell it, I'll show you how that breaks the page. You see, it just droops right outside of the border, and I don't want that to happen. Another thing you can do with overflow instead of hidden is you can set it to auto, and what auto does is when it does get too small like that, you get a scroll bar so that you can actually see what you don't see. But because it's auto, when it does get bigger, big enough to hold it, that scroll bar will disappear because scroll bars are ugly. You could change it if you always want the scroll bar to be there no matter what. You can hit overflow to scroll, and then you're going to have the placeholders for a scroll bar there, and it doesn't actually change anything. You still have that shape being that shape no matter what, and then you get that little thing right here only when you need it. But this image doesn't change. I don't like the scroll bar, so I'm going to put it back to overflow hidden. But there's different reasons to use different attributes. Border radius of 20 pixels and padding of 7 pixels, you know that gives it a roundedness, and that gives it a space on the inside of the element before the actual text. If I highlight hello there, you see the blue background. Well, there's 7 pixels between the edge of the blue background and the edge of the red border of that span tag. Then I've got a heading. It's called dot heading, which means it's a class, and that is this div that has this purple, and it's got border of purple, 25 pix purple ridge, border radius of 20 pixels, and a padding of 10 pixels. So everywhere that I want a little purple container for other elements, I just write div class equals heading, and it'll be contained in that purple box. Then I've got a text area, which are these two rectangular areas right here. I have resize set to none, width 49%, height 500 pixels, border thick blue ridge, padding 10 pixels, font size 25 pixels, color black, and font weight bolder. That's the end of the style for this page, the end of the head, and there is the beginning of our body. There's my div with the class of heading, and again I just read that from the CSS style. That's this purple. And then I have, inside of this purple div, I have an image, and that is this monkey head. A ref equals zoo. Oh, I take that back. This is the image tag. Image src equals zoo.jpg. Alt equals monkey image goes here. Title equals click the monkey face to move to the next page. What I did was I took my link tag This is a link tag. The beginning is this ahref and the ending is this /a. If I were just to put words in here and get rid of this image, what you would do is I might as well do that. I'll go on ahead and comment out my image tag. Okay, now the image is going to disappear and you're going to see this blah 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 baloney that's going to be a regular link. It kind of ruined my page, but I'm showing you this link right here. You click on the link and it opens up the zoo page. I don't want to use text, I want to use an image to open up that page. So inside, oh cool, I got another one. That's my mama. All right, let me uncomment out my image tag. So now an image, clicking on the image is going to do the same thing that my text did. And this is how you make an image tag again. img source equals zoo.jpg, alt equals monkey image goes here, which basically if anything happens to my monkey image, if it's taken out of the folder or anything, or if it's misspelled, you will see those words. Title is a tooltip that says click the monkey face to move to the next page. So when you hover over that image, this is going to be a tooltip. So let me refresh my page, hover over my monkey, click the monkey face to move to the next page, and click on it. And it opens it up in, the reason that it opens up in a new tab is because I used this keyword target equals underscore blank. So that's a pretty cool little thing to do if you don't want to use your regular links for navigation, you want to use an image. Here's my span tag. That's this part right here that says hello there on the inside. Title says hello, which means if I just hover in there, I get the tooltip that says hello. And these are the actual words that you physically see, hello there. And there's the end of the span tag. And remember, I stylized my span tag up here, span, and I did all that stuff with the overflow, hidden, border, thick, red, solid, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we did that, we did the span. Now let's do this audio control. Here's the beginning audio control and ending audio control. Source src equals, and this is the name of whatever MP3 file that you have. Type equals audio /mpeg. And if you're using an older browser that does not recognize HTML5 audio tag, this is going to pop up for the user to see. Your browser does not support the audio element. Try downloading a newer browser like Chrome, Firefox, or Opera. The only attribute that we gave the audio tag is controls. When we get to the Zoo HTML page, we use the audio tag, but we have both the attribute controls, or you could call it properties. We also have autoplay, so that when that Zoo page pops up, it automatically plays this Vote For Me MP3 file. If you don't like that functionality, then you just take this autoplay feature and delete it out, the way it is not in this one. Alright, there's the end of that div with the class of heading. So now we're done with all the elements that are inside of this purple box. Next, I have a text area, and I've got it as disabled so that the user can't come in here and type or delete anything. If you take the disabled off, which I've done before in other videos, and refresh it, do you see how it's brighter? I can come in here as a user and delete stuff. I can delete everything in here, and I could just start typing away. Basically, I can take notes. If I want to practice my coding, I could have something in a disabled text area to the right, and I could have this not disabled to the left, and I can basically copy what I see over here as practice in this one. So you know, you could do that just to get used to the coding. But this does not stay. If you were, let's say you do notes, let's say, okay, you think that what you type is going to stay in here. Well, let me show you that it won't, because if I go back to this page and I hit run and I hit launch in Firefox again, none of that is going to stay. What's going to stay is what I have in the actual source area. But I'm going to put that back to disabled because that's not the functionality that I want for this particular page. I'm just showing you you can have that if you so choose. And I'm going to hit refresh, so you're going to see how it went to a slight gray color. Now you can't no matter how you click on this and try to drag it, you cannot highlight it and delete it. You cannot type inside there. The text area, again, I did give it a style, a bit of a style, up here in the style tags. Here's the text area. The resize is none. If I don't set resize to none, and I know I've shown this before in another video, but let me show it again in this one. What you get in the right lower corner of the text area itself is this little ability to change the size of this. And I'm sure there's a reason that you might want to let the user do that, but I'm not having that for this one. So I want to change my resize to none so that the user can't play around like that because it's kind of strange. Width 49% because I wanted two columns. I wanted to show the one Java file, class movie, and the second Java file, public class movie test drive, with the public static void main string args execution statement. So I wanted to let you see those two files side by side. Now the fact that I gave the text area a singular height, so that no matter what text area I create, it's only going to be a height of 500 pixels. Well, this file right here, class movie, all of it fit fine and dandy in a height of 500 pixels. This, on the other hand, needed much more space. So to compensate, it gave me an automatic scroll bar, and so in the same area, we can save a longer file and then refer to it with the scroll bar. Okay, so that's it for the text area. Audio control, text area disabled. And the nice thing about the text area, again, is that whatever you type, including symbols, including blank lines, blank spaces, it's going to give you the output just the way you type it. So the text area is really a great tool when it comes to making notes, without having to use special symbols or backslashes or whatever. You just want a certain output to show just the way you type it. And this is the other text area. I don't need to go through all of that code at this point. What eventually I'll do is I'll create these two Java files, and I will run it, and it'll open up in the command. I will run it in the command prompt window so that you see the real output. This doesn't show the output. This just shows the code. Okay, so there's the end of the text area, end of the body, end of the HTML. So I basically showed you this entire page that's called Make and Test Movie Object. I showed you how if you click on the image, it's also a link. Now let's go over the this one. Let's go over the zoo HTML, which again is pretty simple. HTML beginning tag, and at the very end there better be the ending, and there is. The head goes from here to here. The body goes from there to there. I can move these spaces up a bit. All right, so starting with the head, here's that link tag that lets me have this paw print up here next to the title zoo. And that's the image of the paw print, zoo.png. And in the title tags here, I've got the word zoo. So up here you see zoo. Here's that meta tag that after 1,000 seconds, it's going to bounce back to this. And the meta tag for that one is also set for 1,000 seconds. And you see Earl Zoo. It's going to go back to this. And they're just going to keep going back and forth. I can show you by changing this to 3 seconds on both of them instead of 1,000 seconds. I'll set it to 3 seconds, save it in Notepad++, and run it, and you'll see how every 3 seconds it's going to toggle from page to page. I don't need both of them though. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so on and so forth. Okay, so I don't want to keep looking at that. So I'm going to change that 3 seconds to back to 1,000 because I don't really need to toggle that at this point. I just want to show you how it functioned because it's kind of cool. Okay, let me go back to this page. As you see, every time this page opens up, the audio automatically moves. Head, I just showed you the shortcut with the paw print. Title zoo, I showed you the meta refresh tag that lets us bounce back and forth from page to page. Here's the style. The body, I gave a margin of 0 pixels and padding of 0 pixels for this particular page. See, in here, I didn't link to this external style sheet, but I could, and it would make the HTML page itself code smaller. So if I take this link in the other page and copy it and put it in the zoo page, again in the head somewhere, like there. Let's see if this changes the page at all. And it doesn't. So what that means is this internal style is still functioning without any problem. What my goal is I want to take the style from both pages that's in the head, and I'm going to copy this all from both of these pages and put it in just this external sheet. And then if I have duplicate styles, erase duplicate styles, clean up the code, and then delete this entire bit from both pages so that it makes each page shorter. And actually, after I go over the zoo page, I'll do that. The button, the ID button, if I go back into the body, is right here. Div ID button. That's this div. And the style for that is all of this. Margin 0 auto, border 25 pixels, blue ridge, padding 35 pixels, font weight bolder, font family cursive, font size 25 pixels, color maroon. Actually kind of looks brown, but it's supposed to be maroon. Border radius 100 pixels. Usually I use 20 pixels, but I wanted it even rounder, so the corners are even rounder than normal. Background color beige, text align center, so all of the elements inside this div are centralized. Width 50%, height 30%, overflow hidden, and I also have a misspelled overflow auto. Overflow hidden means this paw print is gonna hide, all this stuff is gonna hide when it gets too small. See the overflow? It's not going over top of the blue border, it's actually disappearing behind there. And I've got this tooltip that says vote for me, I'm the best. The vote for me, I'm the best here in maroon are in 2 lines, and the tooltip is also on 2 lines. And there's 2 different ways that we do that, and I'll show you when I get to the body, but I'm still in the head right now in the style. Let me take off overflow hidden by misspelling it, and then you'll see how all of these elements just spill right outside of the blue div that they're supposed to be contained in, and I really don't like that. So I'm going to go back to overflow hidden. But then I also, actually let me take that back. Let me keep that misspelled and let me take off the Z on overflow auto, because what's going to happen again, we're going to see a scroll bar. I guess I have to rerun it. Run, launch in Firefox. Overflow auto should give me a scroll bar. It did not give me a scroll bar. Overflow auto. Let me try overflow scroll. Because for some reason, I don't know why it's not giving me a scroll. Launch in Firefox. Well, I'm not going to bang my head on the wall for this. I'm just going to go back to hidden, because there's a style somewhere that's keeping me from getting a scroll. I'm not sure what it is at this point, but anyway, that's the ID of button. And I also styled the audio tag, which is this audio player right here. Width 80%, background color blue, border radius 20 pixels, padding 20 pixels, and margin 5 pixels. The end of the style, the end of the head, and here's the body. Here's the div element itself with the ID of button that we already went over. All of these, this is how the button is styled. It's not a button, but I just called it a button. Since it says vote for me, it's kind of like a voter's button. That's basically why I named it that. During this voting season, I'm thinking of voter's button. The title is the tooltip. Vote for me, I'm the best. This is how I made that go to two lines. I've got an ampersand, which is this and symbol, the hashtag, the number 13, and a semicolon. That's so when I hover over here, you see two lines pop up. Vote for me, I'm the best in that tooltip. If I didn't have this and symbol, pound, 13, and semicolon, it would all show up on one line. And I didn't want my tooltip like that. Then on the inside, these words, I have the way that I have these on two lines is that I use the break tag. So it's two different ways that you have to use in order to make both of those items give you two lines. After that, after this vote for me, I'm the best, you get your audio tag. Audio controls so that you see the controls, and autoplay so that as soon as this loads, this automatically reads. If I take controls off and save it and run this, you will not see this, but you'll still hear the reading. You'll still hear the MP3 file. You just won't see it. You just won't see it at all. Another thing you can do, you can hit loop. You can put the word loop in that audio tag, and it'll just keep saying it over and over again. So you can't hear it, but I can hear vote for me, I'm the best over and over and over again. And let me hurry up and stop that because it's driving me insane. And another thing is if you don't want it to autoplay, then take out the word autoplay. Then when this refreshes, the only way you're going to hear this is if the user physically clicks on it to make it play, which this is really the best way to do it. It really is the best way to do it. I'm sure there's some circumstances where you might want it to auto play, but letting the user decide when it plays is the best idea for the development. And again, this is the statement that the user will see if they're using an old browser that does not recognize the audio tag. Finally, I have this image right here, image source equals zoo.ping. That's this paw print. And on the left hand side, I have the beginning link tag that's going to take us to the original page, make and test movie objects.html. And then at the end of the image, right here, we have the ending link tag. So just like the first one, if you click on this paw print, it's going to open up the original page, which is this one, make and test movie objects. If you click the monkey face, it's going to take us to the zoo page. So you can just keep going back and forth. And if you notice, we're ending up with a ton of all these extra tabs because we have it set to open in a new tab. If we don't want it to work like that, then let me close all these out so you can see. If we don't want it to open in a new tab, then we go back to here, and this target equals blank, erase that. In the make and test movie objects, go to the zoo. Let's go here, target equals blank, take those off. Now when we run our original page, it's going to replace whatever page you're on with the next page instead of opening it in a new tab. So you click this, you get the zoo page. You click the paw print, you get the monkey page. And you don't end up with a ton of tabs up there. The only thing is, if the user doesn't know how to navigate between these two, they may be confused and not understand how they can navigate that. So you may want to put a note in your web page, to navigate to different pages. Click on, animal head, or click on animal image, or whatever. So let's see, is there anything else in the zoo thing? I don't think there's anything else. Nope, end of the div, end of the body, end of the HTML. So basically that goes over, again, a couple things that you can do making web pages and how you can toggle back and forth to different ones. You could either use an image as a link instead of words. You can use your audio tag where it automatically plays, shows the bar, doesn't show the bar, doesn't autoplay, different attributes on that. You can stylize it with different colors. You can let a timer bounce back and forth from page to page. Again, that was by using this meta tag. And I'm going to close with that. The next one I do, I'm going to go over these two code snippets, one class movie and the other public class movie test drive, and just show you how that actually runs.